Thank you for listening to Game Woven, a collaborative world building actual play podcast where we build a world one game at a time. This episode marks the beginning of our second campaign, where after 3 years of playing collaborative world building games, we have finally decided to set a campaign in the world that we've been working on. We hope you enjoy. Hey, listeners, how are you? Welcome to Campaign 2 of Game Woven. I don't know where this is going to land in the release order. I don't know how this is going to fit into how we put Campaign 2 together. But one part of what I want to do with Campaign 2 is document the character and world building steps from Cosmic Century Knights, the system that we are using, uh, which is by James D'Amato of One Shots and Andrew
Yes.
Murgiewski.
Of Courier's Call and probably a bunch of other stuff, but no, he's boy, what an exciting game.
Yeah, it's a delight, and the reason that I wanted to do it is because so I'll be GMing campaign 2. We're going to be running campaign 2 like a traditional like heroic fantasy campaign. So we're going to have a core party of characters and we're going to go on big damn adventures and we're going to fight monsters and have drama and people are going to like cry and it's getting backstories and like the whole thing. We're doing it trad style. Um, and so this is a really good vehicle for that. But I also really appreciated just how weavy this game is. It has so much of what we love in Game Woven, which is both collaborative world building, collaborative character building, but also all of it supported with really well put together procedural generation. And so I want to document the character building portion of Cosmic Century Knights for Campaign 2 of Game Woven. And Zad and I have been bouncing some ideas back and forth. So we thought, well, let's just hop in a call and let's put this character together that we're thinking about and see how it all comes together. What do you think, Zad?
Hi, I'm here too. I'm super excited. Just looking at some of the notes here, and we'll get into the process as we're going, but it just and it's fun.
So the central pastiche, the central conceit of Cosmic Century Knights is that a significant amount of the mechanical heft of the game revolves around the Century Blades, which are the 100 blades that came to Earth and have incredible powers. This game is meant to feel like shonen is really kind of what it's meant to feel like, which is incredible. Kind of the older, darker stuff too, like your Berserks and all that. Not quite so much One Piece. And so a lot of what we do with the character building is wrapped up in incorporating a Century Blade into each one of the central characters. The added challenge that we have here at Game Woven is that we are also integrating the built-in and implied some of it's explicit, some of it's implied lore from Cosmic Century Knights into our own setting that we spent the entire first campaign developing. And so why don't we jump straight to the character creation section here, Zad, and
Absolutely.
let's talk about your blade. Let's start with this blade here. Um,
Yeah.
there are yeah,
Uh,
there are there are. Oh, sorry. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say I have in our private group chat, I have thrown out probably 3.5 extremely good pitches for characters to play in a campaign, and none of those are sword people. So I have completely thrown out all of those ideas, or at least shelved them. There's a few of them that I'll would like to potentially revisit at some point. But like I'm coming in on this one clean because like frankly, I'm not a sword person necessarily. So having to uh, work from that aspect is stretching the way that I usually make characters. So yeah, I guess I'm coming in with no expectations, just dice and tables and
Yeah.
directions.
The cool thing about this is a lot of what we're building is not going to be heavily mechanical. This is there are, I mean, it's not rules light by any means. It's just the way the rules are put together is kind of unexpected and very clever and keeps all of the focus on the Century Knights and the Century Blades, which is really neat. So the way we build a character in Century Knights is we start with the aspects. So there are 7 aspects that define a Century Knight and their blade. They create its history, look, and agenda. So to begin, we're going to roll an array and record the results. And the die that we're rolling are a d6, a d8, a d10, a d12, and 3d20. Um, and then we're going to assign those positions on some charts coming up. And everyone knows I love me a table. The charts that we're going to line them up on are the lineage of the blade, the background of the wielder, the style of the blade, the claim of the blade, which will make more sense when we actually get to that bit, the appearance of the blade, the desire of the blade, and the desire of the knight. You're supposed to kind of do this in whatever order you want based on your own interest. And you take the results from your array and you match it to the results of the corresponding prompt. As you find ones that you like, you just keep checking off boxes until you have kind of a setup. Higher and lower results aren't necessarily better. Um, Higher results are usually weirder. So the lower results are always going to be slightly more grounded. The higher results are always going to be pretty over the top, according to the wording in the book, which I think is pretty accurate. I think we have landed
Yeah,
on some stuff when testing this out. So yeah,
I think
um,
as just to give like an example of what that means, like on the style of the blade table, a two is like a single edged one-handed sword, whereas when you get to a 15 is a hinge blade, a pair of scissors, or sorry, a blade or pair of scissors mounted on a hinge, razor blades, giant scissor swords, and switchblades. So that's kind of what it means to have this space between 1 and 20.
Yep. And each one of the charts also has what's called a null option, which is basically like, I don't have a number that works, or I think this is getting ridiculous, and so I'm gonna pick like a neutral, chilled out
Mhm.
option. And that's just if you've already got something that you're really hooked on and you think that there's gonna be a weird conflict with one of the choices, you can take the null option and build how you want to. It's
It's
neat.
interesting. It's interesting to me because of the way that it says like, okay, this element of this character doesn't really matter to me, and it's
Hmm.
generally picking something that's pretty much like the standard shonen protagonist option, which is nice because it's like, okay, now I can focus on the other 6 things
Yeah.
a little bit more.
Yeah, if you were to select null option for every single one of the entries, you would literally get like you would get like a level 1 MMORPG character,
Mm.
a complete tabula rasa. Uh, so Zad, which of the aspects is jumping out and biting you right now? Which one do you want to start with? Have you
I
rolled? Were you rolling quietly in the
uh
background?
I was just about to roll.
Okay.
So, I just got my rolls I have, and I put them in numeric order so I know which ones I'm playing with. I've got a 3, a 4, a 7, an 8, a 9, a 15, and a 16.
Okay.
And I think so as I'm looking through this list, I think this is where I have to remember what I so I think actually as I'm looking at this list, a way that I want to run with this is I'm going to leave the lineage of the blade and the background of my character. Um I'm gonna leave those until last
Okay.
because in a real sense, those are the things that you kind of get to choose the least. So I am intentionally setting aside my ability to make decisions about those things in this character. And I'm actually going to start with the style of the sword.
What kind of sword we got? What kind of sword we got? Let me get to that one there. Each one of these has obviously 1 through 20. Yeah, so which of your numbers? So correct me if I'm wrong. You
Mhm,
basically have a list of numbers, and so
mhm,
you could choose between, since this is your first thing, you could choose
mhm.
between any of the styles that matches one of your numbers. What are your numbers again? Read one
Uh,
number and I'll tell you what kind of blade that is.
I got a 3.
That is a double-edged two-hander.
I've got a 4.
A giant double-edged two-hander.
A 7.
That is a giant single-edged two-hander. Huh.
I I'm getting an impression of what the dice want me to
I'm
be thrown
really
around
I'm
here.
really feeling a vibe here,
But I've also got an 8.
which is a thrust cut double-edged one-hander. So that's going to be like a rapier.
And then I've got a 9.
A flexible piercing slash triangle blade. Okay, so the description here is, oh, thin and swishy blades with deadly speed, foils and small swords.
So it's the difference between like a sword that people would assume you would use for fencing, but you would actually use to try and hurt somebody, and then
Hmm.
like a 9 is, oh no no, these are literally just these are
Literally,
just for show
actually a foil.
and for
So the
sport.
eight,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, it like nine is basically like a show blade, but you can
Mhm.
actually kill someone with it.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Oh, and then I got a 15. It's that hinge blade we were talking about earlier.
15 is the hinge blade, so you could
Mhm.
use a giant pair of scissors.
I could.
Is that, yeah.
And 16 is monster materials.
Oh. Oh,
Yeah.
rad.
Yes. So
And
they've
we have a
built
lot of
Ernett
that in this
into them to
game, yeah.
scale.
You could have
Um,
one of the you could literally have a leviathan tip, like a
right.
leviathan bone like weapon, yeah.
Yeah, and I get it. Uh, but also, um, I think back to Dylan asking about because like this is back in a cross stitch for the second arc for the Shade All arc, and Dylan asked something about like how I felt about other people using something like the Undying Empire, which I had ostensibly created, collaborative effort, but I had been the genesis point of that idea, and um to expound on that answer that I gave a little bit, I have trouble playing too much with Ernett because that feels like it's a little bit outside of, I guess, my wheelhouse. Like I know Rob and Lex have done a lot of Ernett stuff, and so I don't know if I want to like do a monster materials sword.
Oh, okay.
Um,
Uh, what are you thinking then?
I'm like, is it all right if I do like go kind of boring and we'll pencil in like either a 2 or a 3? I like the idea of being a big sword guy.
Okay.
Um, and you can do that with either, well, I guess there's a difference between a long sword and a great sword.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to be
Mhm.
a big sword guy, you got to go either 4 or 5. And so,
Right.
are you imagining like a frickin' or not a 4 or 5, a 4 or a 7? Those were the other ones, and that would be the difference between like a Zweihander or like a Dark Souls style greatsword or like a giant like falchion.
Um, and it's also worth pointing out that like I think like a giga sword is also a thing.
Yes,
Uh,
Giga Sword is number 12. And that is, it literally says right here, a blade straight from 90s JRPGs whose size outstrips practicality and reality.
yeah. So I don't have access to that one.
No.
And I personally, I usually feel drawn to kind of like double-edged straight swords. So I
Hell
think I'm gonna
yeah.
grab the 4 here. Um,
All right. So we're going to do a big boy.
big big boy season on this sword.
Yeah. Over 6 foot of steel with a 3 foot, 3 inch thick blade. Come on. That's not a 3 foot blade. That'd be a Giga sword. That's crazy. Okay. um, all right.
Could you imagine a sword that is half as wide as it is long?
Yeah, that'd be ridiculous. Even the Buster Sword is not that thick.
No, no. That'd be a
Okay,
little
which
silly.
aspects do you want to jump to next?
Let's go with sticking on the sword. Let's go with the appearance of the sword.
Okay. All
And
right.
when it talks
What's the
about the
appearance of
appearance, yeah, it's going with this determines this century blade looks beyond its silhouette. It determines the materials used to make the blade, decorative elements, and the overall aesthetics.
Nice.
And then like this is tertiary. There's no mechanical effect to these.
Okay, what numbers do you have left? Let's read them off, and I'll tell you what your options are.
All right, so I got 3.
This is a practice sword. Looks
A
non-lethal.
practice grade,
A practice great sword. So a giant log.
just a big stick.
Delightful. What else you got?
7.
7. Macabre. Ooh,
Mm-hmm.
fun.
8.
Elemental. So a visual
Okay.
connection to an element of some kind.
9.
Arcane. So it's covered in runes and symbols, and it glows.
Okay. Okay. And then 15.
Star metal. This blade was forged from a wondrous material from beyond the stars. It has unique properties even for a century blade. Um, and it always reminds me of that giant in the playground joke. What was it? What was that comic strip? Oh darn, I
Giant
can't remember.
playground.
Giant in the Playground was the production company. The Order of the Stick reminds me of that Order of the Stick joke where the main character gets a sword made of star metal, and he asks the guy like, "Okay, now that I've crafted a sword out of star metal, what's it do?" And he says, "Aha! I believe that this will improve your damage and accuracy of your blows by up to 25%." And he says, "We usually just say +5 around here." What are
Also,
you
Terry
thinking?
Pratchett,
Yeah,
after Terry Pratchett was knighted, he literally bought a meteor that he had, or a meteorite that he had forged into a sword. What a
good.
guy. Uh,
Yeah,
the last one I've got is 16, which is
living.
living. Yeah. Uh I'm gonna pass on that. I'm not a
Okay.
pets person. I'm also sitting on some of these weirder ones for later. Like this is part of the fun here, is it's like, okay,
Right.
but do you want to blow your high numbers early? Um,
What's also interesting is from a single array, we can basically develop like 7 different characters.
oh yeah, yeah. You
Like
can you can
like if
rearrange these numbers and get a lot of different stuff.
like if I wanted to make a bunch of villains specifically to like sort of spiritually mirror you, I could just take your array and just throw the
Ooh.
numbers in different spots.
Mhm. Or even just swap two of them around so that the thing is like
Yeah.
mostly the same except for these two things are different, and that's very interesting.
Yeah.
Um, God, okay, so I think we can like probably set aside practice. Um, I I think that the star medal is compelling. Mostly because I don't know what that is or what it means.
Well, we usually just say +5 around here.
Oh, I see.
I
Well,
actually, I'm not entirely. It has unique properties even for a Century Blade. I'm not sure what that means mechanically. That
mhm.
might be something that we would look up.
Yeah. Well, and it's like I think I could probably leverage that in descriptions.
Right.
Even if it doesn't have a mechanical within the mechanics of the game. Um I think that there's something to describing the way that it shines or a way that it can bend to achieve an effect that comes across in a role. And I think that that's
Yeah.
an interesting, so I think I'm gonna go with Star Metal on this
Oh,
one.
you are gonna do Star Metal.
I
Okay.
think so. Yeah.
Sweet.
And I might come back to some of these to move stuff around if there's something that makes more sense later.
Sure.
But
Yeah, we're not locked in till we're locked in. I mean, that's rad.
no, yeah.
Star Metal
Um,
Greatsword. Star Metal Greatsword is the name of my prog rock band, actually.
Star Metal Blades.
Okay.
I'm getting a lot of ice from A Song of Ice and Fire. Ned
Okay.
Stark's big sword. Uh,
Mm.
I kind of like that as a vibe, especially because like I don't know, Ned was cool, and then just just absolutely not to spoil it, but the show's old.
Yeah, they killed him. They killed that guy.
Yeah,
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 sucks.
yeah. He was
They
the
should. They
protagonist of
shouldn't.
the entire season.
They shouldn't get away with that. That's fucked up.
Of all the things that that show does, that's the thing that you're saying that they shouldn't have gotten away with.
Yeah, correct. Yes.
Okay,
I didn't
okay.
watch much of it, so I.
If you
um.
watched that far, you watched about a good third of the good episodes.
Oh shit. Oh no. What's the
Anyway,
next aspect? What do you want to get to? We've got. All right. We've done the
uh,
style and we've done the appearance of the blade. Do we want
mhm,
to?
mhm.
Do we want to just lock this blade down and do the desire?
Mm, sure.
Yeah.
Let's roll what we got for desires here.
The blade's desire. hop on down
Um,
here.
do we assign Oh, we do assign distinct numbers for both the wielder and the blade.
Yes, we
Interesting.
do. Yeah.
Okay.
So once again, let's read what you got and tell me what we see.
Um, so having checked off the 15 and the 4, I have a 3.
Destruction.
Okay.
Oh wait, no, that's yeah,
Uh,
destruction.
I've got a 7
Duty, honor, and justice.
and then an 8,
Nature.
this a 9
Peace.
and a 16.
One above many. What? A desire to be known as the greatest century knight and master of many blades.
Okay. I think we can set nature aside. Like,
Okay. Yeah, you made
uh,
a noise. I'm assuming you weren't going to do that.
I don't find nature in and of itself as a compelling like whenever somebody says like, "Oh, this is a naturey person," it's like, okay, but like, what does that mean? Are you saying like nature as in the perpetuation of naturally occurring cycles? Uh, are you saying nature as opposed to social construct as a an ultimate good in and of itself? Are you just a big fan of trees? Could you be a bit
What's
more
really
specific?
what's really funny is I know you live in a college town, and so like I'm sort of picturing the kind of person that you're very frustrated by when talking about nature.
It's it everybody like it's the people who play druids or rangers, and it's just like, oh, I don't like people because I'm into nature, and it's like that's not okay. Sure, fine,
Yeah.
all right, whatever. Are you coming on this
Okay.
mission, or do we need to? Do you would you like to come on this quest or not?
Or not. Yeah.
Because we can just we can you can stay. You the player can walk away from the table unless you want to get on board here. But
Yeah.
anyway,
You have had some bad
um,
run-ins with druid players, huh?
I think like I struggle to play. I've played a fair number of druids because that kit has interesting things going on, but that kit's a mess. It's
True.
just
Yeah.
like I could you can you're playing part wizard, part cleric, part um
Tank.
shapeshifter, and when you're doing
Mhm.
any one of those things, the other two kind of fall by the wayside. It's got interesting flavor to it, but I don't know. It's this we don't play D&D. I haven't played D&D in years. Holy
Yeah, I
smokes.
know, right? Me too. Okay, so nature is obvious. We're not doing that.
Yeah. Mhm.
100% not. What do you got? Do
Um,
you want to be a bad guy? Do you want to do destruction? Want to be
no.
kind of evil? Okay. All right, fine, whatever.
No. I've played enough bad guys. Hell, even Henbit's like Henbit's a mass murderer at this point. So like, you
True.
know, I think I'm gonna go with the. Here's an interesting thing, um, because I this is a two perspectives that align frequently, but are not necessarily universally simpatico. I think that the blade wants duty, honor, and justice,
Oh,
but the wielder is looking for peace.
nice. Okay.
um which is like this means that like the wielder there are going to be times where the blade is spurring the wielder to action because it's like we need to get these things put right, and the wielder's potentially going to be like, hey, actually no, I'm ready to let that go,
And what's really
to get
interesting
on with our
is
lives.
where a lot of the themes of campaign 2 are going to have a lot to do with like radicalism and like the revolutionary mindset because this is
Yes.
ultimately, I mean, there's no spoilers, this is a campaign about rebelling against an empire. And
Hmm.
so the conflict between justice and peace
Hmm.
is like a central conflict that
Hmm.
people have to come to grips with. Like that's a pretty real thing to have to think about.
Mhm. Well, and like, and on what terms do those things occur? And it's tough. Like I've been thinking about Fanon and the troubles in Ireland as in terms of like what can we talk about now in order to try and imagine a way to avoid those pitfalls. But that's probably thinking too hard about what's going to be a fun adventure. And I think like I want to say like, so sure, my character wants peace, um, and that's going to be what their end goal is. But we've already talked about our characters being interested in, um, or already being people who are invested in overthrowing the empire. So what this character is willing to commit to a violent course of action in order to ultimately attain peace so that, you know, this character doesn't end up being a boring stick in the mud that has to get drug along on the adventure here. Hmm.
Okay, so you're gonna do justice for your blade and peace
Yep,
for the wielder.
for the wielder. Yes.
Rad. I think that's awesome.
Mm.
What is the next thing? We're really knocking these down.
Yeah. What don't I have? Oh, I think that's 5. So we're just looking at the background of the wielder and the lineage of the blade.
Which do you want to start with?
Oh, wait. Background and then the appearance of the. Oh, sorry, one second. It's the birth of the wielder. I've got 3 left
Oh,
actually.
okay, okay.
We've
Uh,
got the birth of the wielder, the background of the wielder, and the lineage of the blade. Should we start with the birth of the wielder?
yeah. Birth of the
Okay.
Wielder is the name of my prog rock band's concept album. I'm so sorry. I can't help it.
Uh, so this is where I have to start like actually seeing the stuff that I've got checked off here. Um,
What do you got?
I have a 3.
Monstrous.
I have a. Oh no, I have a
What?
7, but we've already
Plant
used the
folk.
7,
Ah,
so they're not a Verdreen.
yeah. Could have walked you straight into Verdreen.
Yeah. Oh well. I've got an 8.
Aquafolk.
And I have a uh 16.
A Star Wanderer.
Hmm. Ooh, I also have a 15. An animated object would have been fun, but that's been used. Wait, no.
No,
15 is
15 is
talking
Talking
animal.
Animal.
Well, never mind. Um, so, what's the 16? We gotta burn this at some point. You're not of this world. You come from the stars. Your home, your own home, eternity of way. When you came to this planet on your own business, so are we committed to? I know like stuff coming from space is inherent to the game.
Yeah.
Are we committed to making the stuff that is or that is otherworldly, literally stuff from space? Because we've got otherworldly stuff in terms of like the planet of the gods, but
So far, go on.
are we willing to stretch that to otherworldly things being like otherworldly could mean like having some relationship with divinity? Like, would
So
you be willing to take Narithma as a Star Wanderer?
So every time we have had something from another world, it has been linked to divinity somehow.
Sure.
Um, we haven't really pinned down the nature of that. Like we've created gods and we've sort
Hmm.
of defined them on sort of like I guess like a human level. Hey, um, we've created gods and we've kind of
Hmm.
defined their like portfolios and agendas and perspectives on like sort of like a human level, like a ground level kind of thing, but we haven't actually talked a lot about the nature of divinity
Hmm.
um and its relationship with like otherworldliness. So I there you know, uh, there's a lot to work with there.
Okay. So can I pitch you on this?
Yeah.
I take that Star Wanderer and I parlay it into playing as one of the Bowerborn gods.
Oh, would that imply that the Bowerborn are also kind of sort of otherworldly-ish?
Ugh. I mean, I don't want to. Their groundedness is part of the groundedness is part of the appeal of the Bowerborn. Like that is something that I want to pull as like
It could be that the character has kind of one foot
mhm,
in I mean, you know, it's like Jesus. You know,
yeah,
Jesus was all man and all divine. It could be
right.
kind of like that where these Bowerborn entities have a connection to perhaps directly to the city of the gods in some way, which is kind of a font of divinity or like a source or
Mhm.
like something whose nature we have not quite understood.
Mhm.
Um, but then also you are entirely of this world at the same time.
Gotcha. Okay.
The
I
divine
mean,
world
it would.
gets to kind of do that kind of shit, you know?
Sure. Yeah. Okay. I mean, that does start putting some meat on the bones of how that whole thing happened.
Right.
Uh, so is it like, I guess if it's cool with you, I'm gonna slot that one in and pick a uh pick a peace-seeking Bowerborn god.
What are you the um god, what specific thing are you the god of?
Uh
Because yeah,
that's
I don't know when people are listening, but like basically in the Bowerlands,
mhm,
um, there are kind of smaller gods that are actually
mhm,
born of the people there, and
yeah.
also the people in the Bowerlands are either Agi worshippers largely, or who are mostly humanoid, or are animal folk.
Yes.
Yeah.
Um
Um.
I think like a way that I've thought about. I was watching. It's the holiday season. I was watching Miracle on 34th Street, and the way that it depicts that version of Santa as low key magical, when he's working in his element, is a lot of like that's the way that I like to think of the Bowerborn gods. Of like when he's doing Santa stuff, yeah, he can speak any language and just kind of like know stuff about toys because he's the toy guy.
Yeah.
Plausibly, that is all plausibly something that he could have gotten through mundane means and study, but also like, boy, it's ridiculous to assume that he did.
Right. Yeah. And that's kind of how I've always envisioned them. And but they're like even more specific than like the
Hmm.
spirit of Christmas. What did we establish? There was one whose whole domain was just a type of hay.
Hmm. I mean, that's what Timothy was.
Yeah.
Timothy's one of the old gods.
Yeah.
Um, and I think the new folks that are coming in are very much in that mold. Andis is a bit more abstract than that, but uh, like I had ideas for stuff like a god of camaraderie. Uh, that's just like a union leader that also has a bunch of like goat and sheep guys that fight because they like fist fights and they like
Well, I
rumbling in
think
gangs.
I think camaraderie is too vague. I think that like
Camaraderie's too vague.
camaraderie is too big.
Okay.
Like I would imagine like a god of unions and specifically workers unions. Like that would
Hmm.
be like the level of specificity that I always
Okay.
imagine the Bowerborn gods to be. Except
Gotcha.
Andis, he's a whole other. He's a whole different thing because he was the first one.
Well, yeah, like, and Andis is functionally a therapist. Andis can't
Yeah.
do anything for you that you can't do for yourself, but Andis
Hmm.
is very good at getting that out of you.
Yeah.
Like that's kind of the magic for that character.
Yeah. Andis is like I imagine Andis as a guide, a
Mhm,
trailblazer, like a tracker and hunter. So someone who will guide you through the woods, but also someone who will help guide you through yourself.
mhm.
Yeah.
Um, okay. Getting back to the subject in terms of like a domain to have. Something that we touched on early was the gravekeepers. The society of people who tend graves.
Oh.
And we are very preoccupied with death. And so what about having a character who is particular, like the god of funeral rites, like of gravekeeping to an extent?
Oh, that's incredible.
Hmm.
Yeah, and that's so thematic because we're talking about someone who exists entirely antithetically to an empire of the undead. Like the undead hate a funeral.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, one would presume that they just don't have them.
Yeah, they just raise the people up. I even wonder if like if you have a proper funeral, if you can even raise someone at that point.
That's a good question.
Right? Or maybe since this would be the god of funerals, maybe like if this person lays someone to rest the appropriate way, which of course this character would know, being the god of funeral
Mhm.
rites.
Yeah.
Maybe that person cannot be turned. Like they're that's it. You can't access them
Yeah.
to be an undead servant at that point.
You can't pull that person back up to be a thrall. You can't like reappropriate their bones. Like in the Skeletons game, we see uh the Gravekeeper Leodwa like just basically acing a bunch of ghosts.
Yeah.
Gonna being like, "Hey, shut up. Go to
Shut
sleep."
up.
And they do.
Fuck off.
Uh Mhm. Oh, yeah. Right.
Correct. Yeah.
Precisely.
Yeah.
I have like years old notes that I might not have actually written down, but like it's stuff like there was a vampire that compiled the first uh Gravekeeper's Handbook, and then like gravekeeping was banned throughout the empire. And so he just got like erased from history, and they had to adapt it into the second edition is pretending to be a survival guide that has like
Right.
actual recipes in it. And it's shit like that. But it's like
Hmm.
culture to culture, different all over the world, but this character knows all of those rights because this is their domain.
Yeah. And that's fucking awesome. Yeah, I think that's incredible. And you've got a big fuck off sword. Like a
And I've got a
giant, like
big
you
fuck
got a
off
big
sword.
old great sword, which is very just really well, I don't know why it fits, but it sure does.
Yeah, it's striking. He's just like
Yeah.
a very tall, very broad-shouldered
What kind of animal?
person. I feel like a mole or a rat is too on the nose. I don't want a carrion eater. Like I don't want a crow or like a jackal because that feels too much like I'm stealing from somewhere else.
Sure.
Can I make a big odd jump?
Yeah, go for it.
What about a big sheep? Big
Like an ewe or a ram?
probably a ram.
Oh, okay.
Um but like a 6'2" ram with a big sword.
Yeah,
And a
that's
and a
awesome.
torg. Yeah, and a torg, like, under the neck wall,
Yeah, that kicks
because I
ass.
think
That's
that's
awesome.
fun. Mhm.
Yeah, and a giant cloak.
Yeah, like, so there are pictures from the Game of Thrones TV show of, like, Ned Stark in, like, a big cloak holding ice and looking pensive. Imagine those, except, like, the cloak is not bulking him out any. He's just fuzzy.
Yeah,
Just a fuzzy guy.
and he's got ram's horns.
Ram's horns, yes, obviously.
Oh, yeah, that's all. Yo, 100%. That's amazing.
Big sheep man.
Yes.
Cool.
Okay, so
Well,
now we've got lineage of the blade and
background of the
background of
wielder.
wielder. Blade or
Uh,
wielder.
we're gonna go with the wielder first.
Okay. What do you have?
I have. See, this is the funny thing, because 7 clergy would be perfect.
Yeah.
But I've used the 7. I have 8 outcast,
Okay.
and
Don't you still have a 3?
I have a 3. Yes,
Merchant.
bad. Don't
I
like it.
mm, I like
Eh,
Outcast here. I like
I
Outcast
like
here.
outcast. I didn't like
Yeah.
merchant at all. Outcast is interesting though.
Yeah. Because you're not exactly a light and fluffy Bowerborn god, and you are
No.
also on the fringes of a society because the Bowerlands are controlled by the Empire, and
Mhm,
so, like, if they knew the nature of your power,
mhm.
that'd be super bad for you. So you probably have to like keep yourself at arm's reach even from your fellows.
Right. Can I maybe throw another uh pull character that I have been cooking and never had a good slot for since for an actual 9 years that I've been
Yeah.
thinking of this character. What if this character uh works as an executioner
Oh,
and
that's
then like
really fucked
10
up,
6 days
actually.
afterwards? Yeah.
Oh my God. Okay.
Okay, because like the Bowerlands are and have been probably for the of everywhere that we've seen, the Bowerlands is one of the places that the Empire has the most institutional control. Um,
Yes, yeah. But
like
they can't crack down too hard because the Bowerlands are also where most
the
of the food
breadbasket.
comes from.
Right. And so, like, something that I've been thinking about are what are the ways that because it's not the Imperial Core necessarily. The Imperial Core is the city.
Mhm.
But it's like, how do you maintain? control, authority, even a sense of national identity when among large swaths of peasants. Um, Now, the reason that I've been thinking about this for 9 years, in I think it was 2016, my dad took me and a couple of my sisters to Germany, and one of the places that we went was this old castle town, like cobblestone streets, walls around the outside, impossible to find parking, because these places are not built with parking in mind. And it's all these like centuries old buildings that have been converted into hostels and shops and stuff like that. Miserable walking. And one of the tours that we took was a guy who had studied the execution, or like basically the punitive justice systems. And I just kind of like want to borrow a lot of those things. So
Mm,
like he went
okay.
around in a red cloak, carried an axe with him, and talked about like, okay, so how did you become an executioner? Well, you generally inherited it from your father. Yes, they were the ones swinging the axe, but they're not the ones who is responsible for those deaths. They are simply doing a job, which is very unpleasant and puts you on the margins. And so to have a character who is descendant from that and is tangled up in human relationships with death and then put into a position where their job, I guess his job, I'm going to go with he for this one, is not is adjacent to but not the same as the place that he is the most powerful, a place that he is like preternaturally gifted. That feels really interesting to me, and also it ties him to the empire in an interesting way.
Yeah, in a really rough way. Um, kind of puts you at odds with your own agenda, with your own society, because you're basically an imperial employee, killing people in your in your community.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
I think we can work with that. I think that makes a
mhm,
lot of sense. Adds a ton of baggage
mhm,
to our hero here as well.
mhm, mhm.
Now, lineage of the blade. You've only got one number left, and
I do, and it's really funny. It's
it's
really funny.
rented. You are
It's a
leasing this
rental.
blade from a rightful owner. You are allowed to command it and its blessings at their grace.
Fascinating.
Yeah.
Uh,
Pardon. All right, there we go. So, who are you renting a star metal blade from?
uh, I mean, it's gotta be somebody important.
Yeah,
Uh, like, is it I feel like the obvious answer has to be, like, uh, Leostav Oberon, because he's the guy who runs the Bowerlands. He's the Archduke.
right.
But also, like, that ties my character directly in place into, like, if it's this is the official sword of execution for the entire Archduchy, it feels almost like this character would have trouble getting away from their job. Uh, so I want to kind of like bring him to a couple of ticks down the totem pole. What if the blade is being rented from Restov Oberon,
Okay.
and Restov is leasing it to him, to my character, under the condition that my character goes and executes Leostov
Okay.
to
So
get
it's an obs- it's a it, like it, when you get to it, when you get a chance, if you could
yeah,
take off the Archduke's head with this weapon
yes.
on behalf of me, Restov, who is
Restov.
also a villain.
Right. To
Yeah.
remind or to catch people up on this lore. This is stuff that was talked about briefly in the World Gen for the Bitter Litany. The House Oberon is this very, very, very rich house, and it is rich in no small part because it holds a lot of the debt from the Titan Bank. The Titan Bank is House Titan is a fallen and pretty much eliminated house that is established the Titan Bank and has some dealings in another game that we had done. But the Titan Bank is currently being run by Restov over Oberon, Leostov's brother. And the House Oberon, run by Leostov, is hoovering up all of the money that Restov Oberon is supposed to be making running functionally the central bank of the entire empire. And in my head, what this means is that Restov fucking hates his brother. Just just can't with this guy and is looking for every opportunity that he can to get out from underneath his foppish, opulent older brother and get the money that he thinks he's owed because he's got an actual job, i.e., running a big bank.
Right. And so this sword um was assigned to you specifically as the executioner of sort of the Bowerlands area, with the
Mhm.
understanding that if you got the chance that
Yeah.
you would take a swing at Leostov.
Well, and I think that means that my character has to have like a writ, like a thing that's like, hey, this entitles the bearer access to uh privileged locations within the lands of House Oberon. So I think what we've talked about is that the Ordo Principium the Ordos Principium are include the basically like the justice system as well as the army. And I think an interesting little wrinkle to add in there is because like the Ordo Principium Legis is essentially the Justice Department. They prosecute and they issue judgments on laws, but all of those sentences, the responsibility for carrying out those sentences falls on whoever the lord of the relevant territory is. So like my character would have been working with like a proctor or a magistrate, Principium Legis, serving as their executioner, but he doesn't work for the Ordos Principium. He works directly for House Oberon. And so like maybe Restov did some behind the scenes nonsense and chicanery and is like, hey, I've got a case to convict and to have my brother executed, and like took that to shit, who's the guy who runs the Ordos? Aspetus?
Yeah, Alistair
Uh
Aspetus.
Alistair Aspetus and was like, hey, I need you to sign off on this because it's all legal and it's correct. And Aspetus is just like, oh yeah, sure, fine. Signs it and then says, good luck getting it done.
Yeah. I'll bet the actual legal order that Aspetus signed, the that signature hand got done like centuries ago.
I can only imagine. These
Like
these
it's a
people take
it's
forever to do everything.
yeah, and it's a joke at this point. Like it's been like this writ of execution has been around for so long that it's a joke.
Yeah.
Like, oh yeah,
Mhm.
Leo Stav is going to be executed any year now.
Right. And
Yeah.
Leo Stop is aware that this is in the offing, and it has like Restov will send functionally assassins
Yeah.
to go kill his brother, and it's a whole spy versus spy thing. That's a very funny version of spy versus spy.
Yeah.
These two assholes throwing assassins at each other who kill each other in very over the top ways.
Yeah. And now the writ of execution has fallen to you, and with it this weapon.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's
Uh,
fun. I think that
that's fun.
and that's cool because that ties you directly into a conflict with the Empire, while not ostensibly being attached to it. Like it's cool that your motivation, at least at the outset, for being against or targeting an Imperial subject, a
Mhm.
major one, has nothing to do with the rebellion.
It would also help the rebellion if Leostov was to suddenly be executed.
Sure, yeah, but
Serving serving this thing would be nice.
oh yeah, they'd appreciate that. But like, you might not
Mhm.
even know. You might not even know that
Sure.
there's a rebellion brewing because that's
Could we
miles
also
away in Finchin.
True. That's true. I think that'll be something to settle in as we get like other characters and whatnot run together.
Yeah. Hmm.
Um, could I maybe throw a little bit more on like, so it says rented, not like gifted or bequeathed.
Yeah.
Um, and can we maybe throw a little bit of extra on this where like Restov functionally has a direct line to this character uh through the blade. Like the here's maybe a fun way to go about this. The blade itself functions as kind of a transaction log and records everybody that it's been used to kill. along with because it's
Okay.
interested in justice, and so
Yeah,
it accounts for the intention behind why somebody was killed with it, and that
right.
gets recorded. Uh, like according to the laws, maybe it's got opinions on things one way or another. Um, like it doesn't necessarily, or it kind of has its own sense of internal morality, but that sense of internal morality also takes into consideration what the local laws are. And so the sword itself, this like 6 foot long, very bright blade, is covered in script of all of these entries of the different people it's been used to kill, dating back
Mm.
through however many wielders. And Restov has basically like, read-only access to that.
Yeah, he would have access to like a ledger in his offices or in his records where he can like check in on the list now and again and see
Mm,
who the blade has killed lately. And
mm,
I mean, he might not obviously he's not like watching it every single day because he's a busy guy,
right.
but he might check on it and like, do an audit or maybe send it over to the administratum and have them do an
Mm.
audit and like be like, all right, is this guy on the up and up?
It's this
That's
guy that
fun
I
because then
gave
you
to.
got yeah, that's fun because then you have to be really super careful about who you deal killing blows
Mhm.
to with that blade.
Yeah, yeah. Uh, Especially because it only records on death, and also like it feels like the kind of thing where you could string together, you could literally mow through an imperial like an imperial regiment of some kind with it, and you know nobody would really bat an eye because it's just like a bunch of names that they don't have context for. You kill one one vampire, one person with a title. It's just like,
It'll be real
hey,
obvious.
hey,
Why are you killing this guy?
what's the deal?
What you doing, buddy? Yeah, that kicks it. I dig it. Okay, so we
Mhm,
have the god of funerals, who is an imperial executioner who's been asked to kill Archduke Leostov Oberon of the House Oberon. Uh, that's a lot of baggage. We got a lot of baggage.
yeah.
Let's do
Mhm.
some blessings for the blade.
Blessings for the blade. Is this three D100 rolls, right?
Yeah, 3D100. So it's forging the blade. Every century
Mm,
blade is imbued with at least three blessings. These blessings are divided into three categories: minor, major, and miraculous. A minor blessing is an often utilitarian power. A major blessing is a powerful ability or transformation that empowers knights in and out of combat. Usually takes up a lot of resources, especially when you're low level.
mhm.
Miraculous blessings are odd and wondrous abilities that allow a knight to control incredible destructive power and reality changing effects. They usually take almost all of the effort of even high level knights to achieve. To determine your blessings, roll 3D100 and compare your results to the blessings chart, which we've got up here. Just like when choosing aspects, you can use your results to choose blessings on any chart, but you cross out the results as you go. So this is what we're doing here. You got your what are your numbers?
This is going to actually take me a couple of seconds here.
Sure.
Uh, this is a
Some of
problem
these are
about doing
hilarious. There's one in here just called appropriate amount of rope.
appropriate amount of rope.
This is incredible.
Is that a mundane one or
Yeah, it's a
okay?
minor one. Pulling
Sure.
on the pommel produces an appropriate amount of rope. You must declare the need to the sword before pulling the rope. For example, I need to climb this tree. We need to tie up this bandit. The sword will provide the appropriate amount of rope that you need. Outstanding. All
Okay.
right, what you got?
I have a 70, a 95, and a 72.
So 70 is the wolf cloak blade.
What are we
You
looking? Are
become
we
a
looking at the
wolf.
minor ones first? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I'm looking at minor. 72, you said?
Yes.
The magic mirror blade. Highly reflective and will show you any person or place or thing that you have seen before. Oh, that's pretty cool. And then what was your high roll?
95.
95. The portrait interrogator. With a touch of your blade, bring a portrait of a figure with eyes and mouth to life. Ask it anything it has seen. That's super cool. But I'll
Okay.
let you kind of look through. I'll let you look through the majors and miraculouses and kind of pick out
Hmm.
what you like.
Should we? Yeah, what do we? I'm gonna look at the miraculous ones first, just so I don't. Uh,
Yeah, pick your alt.
yeah. So 95 is unconquered counter. Roll to affect stuff. That sounds complicated. Uh, looks like you get hit and then you hit him real good.
Yeah, that's what I'm reading.
That's the unconquered counter. 72 Chrono Blitz. Freeze time for all characters except you.
Oh,
That's okay.
busted.
And number 70, Sin
The
Striker.
Sin Striker.
Okay. Okay.
Holy energy and
Your
adds moral wrath to your strikes.
you wound enemies according to the sins they've committed in their time.
No damage to
Here's a
innocent.
question.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Here's a
Unspeakable
question.
monsters, avatars of evil. That's incredible. These categories are a negotiation between you and your GM.
As
Okay.
as much as I like Chrono Blitz, I feel like I this character kind of needs to have Sin Striker. It
And I
aligns
think
with
that
the
the Blades agenda.
yeah,
Yeah.
the Blades agenda.
Mm-hmm. I agree. Let's grab a
Oh,
major. You've got 72 and 95 to pick from in your
yeah.
major.
72 is Directional Blade. Successful attack, the injured party can only move in a single director of the wielder's choice. That's funny.
That's
Uh,
hilarious.
95 Living Armor Blade. Can change into a suit of armor.
Oh, tight.
That's less funny. That's fun. That's
Yeah.
cool. I want the Direction Blade is
You want
very
directional
funny.
blade?
I want Directional
Okay.
Blade. Okay, so but
That's
think
cool
about
though. I love it.
yeah, like imagine you somebody is we'll say hesitant to step up to the execution block and you just
Oh.
poke them with your magic sword and say go that way and they have
Yeah.
to.
Mm-hmm.
Alternately, you tell them like this effect lasts until they move a number of feet equals twice your refresh maximum. I'm not sure what that entirely is, but suppose somebody is standing on a stone floor, uh, and you tell them say it's like 10 feet or something. They cannot move until they go 10 feet down.
Right. You can just lock them in place.
Awful.
Yeah. I think that's great.
Or alternately, if it's 10 feet and you got to go up a 10-foot cliff, you poke a buddy and you tell them that they've got to go 10 feet up.
Mm-hmm.
And then if it's like metaphysical, this is some bullshit that I'm about to say right now, but what I'm going to sell to you now, so we don't have to do it in play, is I stab somebody else's character and I tell them that they've got to go however many feet up, and what that means is that when they jump, they cannot come back down, and they can obviously jump again,
Oh, that's
right?
hilarious. Yeah, no, that is the exact kind of like you ever watch Free Run? Free
No,
Run, some of the magic in Free Run is like built on goofy technicalities like that.
okay, okay, okay,
Yeah, I think that's kind of fun.
okay. So we're gonna take the
Yeah,
directional blade.
which means if
That's
we look at
sick.
your minor, you
I
only
think
have
I've
what,
just got the
95?
95, which is portrait interrogator.
Oh, you got the port. Oh, wait, no, no, no. The slime. Wait, yep, 95 is the
That's
portrait interrogator. You can
portrait
bring a
inter.
portrait to life. Yeah, that's
Neat.
cool.
Yeah,
I could
it's
see
good
that
for
being
investigation.
useful, like in like a mausoleum, or like if they're like,
Mhm.
think about this.
Oh.
You see a literally they have carved like a picture of
Mhm,
the deceased. You could
mhm.
activate that person.
Okay.
So like,
Okay.
there's some stuff in there. I think that's cool.
That is cool.
Yeah.
Uh, so I got a fancy sword now.
Yeah, you got a sweet sword. Do you have a name? I think we need that.
How do we feel about um can I can I pitch you on one that sounds cool until you know what it is?
That's usually what you do.
How about a sheetment? Because this is coming from a banker.
A sheetment?
A
Oh,
sheetment.
what is what is that term?
That's basically when the bank takes shit away from you. Or it holds on to something for so long that it goes through the processes of I want to say it's like it's a legal process of something that they've kept in their possession changing ownership from whoever's supposed to have it to the bank itself so that they can get rid of it. Like if you stop paying for a safety deposit box, it'll go to a central repository for a certain amount of years where you can get your shit back, and then after that, it gets sheeted, which means that
Uh,
the bank gets all your stuff that's in there.
I like that on the condition that the sword super hates being called that.
Okay, maybe
Okay.
shelf that one.
Not a it like the sword doesn't like it, but obviously
I
the
think
bankers
okay.
who named it like it.
Yes, I think it's very funny. I think so what are some other like banky type of things
Oh shit, I
that
don't
we
know.
could go with?
Ah,
Like a ledger.
yeah,
What about the silver ledger?
silver ledger. Yeah,
The
I mean
silver ledger.
that's really flashy.
Yeah? Okay.
I still think the sword
Also,
hates it. I still think the sword is like
the
not about it. Like I think the
okay.
sword itself doesn't like all the banking terminology that gets thrown around it because it's like
Right.
this isn't justice, this is just accounting.
Do you think it ever had a previous wielder that tried to convince it that banking was in and of itself a form of justice?
I don't know. I maybe Restov tried to do that. Whether it bought it is besides the point.
I feel like, well, maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know. Um,
That might be something that we sort of spin out and play. Things
yeah.
may, we might discover things about this weapon as we
Mhm.
go.
Yeah. And we got
What about
we
what
have
about your name? Do you have a name?
I do. I'm gonna go with it's pronounced eel. It's spelled EOL.
Okay. Eol. I'm gonna
Eel.
overpronounce that O every time.
Yeah.
Eol.
Because otherwise it just sounds like eel.
Eel. Yeah.
Mhm.
Um,
Um,
so for the final thing, roll me 2d20.
please hold while I look at lists.
Now just roll them, and then I'll ask them.
Oh, okay.
Just roll
Sorry,
2d20.
I already did this bit, but I'm happy to get some other ones on here.
Oh,
I
oh, oh,
have
sure. Well, then tell me which numbers you got, and then I'll ask the questions.
I mean, I'm happy to ask more. Where are there we go. This is part of the problem that I'm running into is I've got to like find these things.
Oh, sure.
So I have a 5.
Okay, I'll ask that. What injustice have you suffered that you cannot bear to watch another endure? What would you sacrifice to see someone spared that pain?
This okay, so this is gonna be one of those moments where I'm personally where me Zad the player is shining through a lot, and it's going to sound rather petty, but it's something that I believe in a great deal. I think the injustice that Eol is preoccupied with fighting, if for no other reason than it's like tangibly in front of him, is the ways that bureaucracy and the failure to adequately navigate it and like laziness or minor technicalities really waste people's time. Like I think, working for the Empire, um, he was out he's maybe he works for like a circuit court like magistrate judge, and he's the executioner that's attached to this OPL magistrate proctor, whatever, that goes around, and he received word that his father would pass soon, and he can't just like ditch everything and go home. He's working for a bureaucracy, so he had to put in for the time off. But like on the form, he requested the wrong kind of leave. And so while it eventually did get approved for him to go, it wasn't expedited in the way that it was supposed to be if he had done the paperwork right, because nobody had told him how to fill the paperwork out right. And so he finally gets his leave to go without incurring, personal execution, and gets home just in time to do his duty as a god and to lay his father to rest, but not in time to do his duty as a son and to be there at the end of everything.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that fucking eats him.
Right. So, wait, does he lay the blame on the shoulders of those who poorly navigate the bureaucracy or on the bureaucracy itself?
Um, I think it's a mix between things. I think he recognizes that the people who are processing these things are operating under particular constraints, and in part he blames himself for not reading the forms thoroughly enough and understanding the process thoroughly enough to actually get it done in the correct way the first time. But like you can only blame yourself so much before it starts eating at your ego in ways, and so he is like, well, I wouldn't have made this mistake if things weren't set up to be stupid and cruel like this. So I think he's got a complicated relationship with it. I think
Mm.
believes in he believes that a lot of the people that you deal with when you are dealing with bureaucracy are genuinely doing the best that they can, and it's the system itself that is frequently cruel and unnecessarily complex and designed to, like, in a lot of cases, designed to prevent said organization or bureaucracy from functioning. Like, there's a really good philosophy tube video about where Abigail Thorne talks about her experience trying to get transition care in the UK, and midway through it starts breaking down into this discussion of management philosophy and how these big machines try and simplify things so that they accomplish as little as possible, and
Mm.
they do this by creating subroutines that functionally keep people in a holding pattern of processing and reprocessing paperwork and being told to, okay, talk to this person, and that person sends you to another person, that person sends you to another person, because nobody knows what the correct authorities are. And so while every individual can act in good faith with the system, and it can still all collapse because good faith is not a thorough understanding of how it works.
Right.
Uh,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
I think it's a lot of things. And I think it drives Eel to like actually understand how to get things done within this system, uh, and when to just cut around it entirely.
Right.
Because like being mad about the individual incident isn't going to bring his dad back.
Right. Yeah. Okay. Let's do what was your other role?
Um, my other role is 6.
Oh, right after there. What is
Yeah,
your most criticized or rejected quality? How does this quality make you strong in ways most other people cannot see?
I think it's his job. It's the fact that he fucking works for these people, uh, and that he does it, right? Like, he's an official for the Undying Empire, specifically House Oberon. You know, like, it's a messy and bad job, and I think he has to rationalize it to himself in, like, "Hey, somebody who's intentionally cruel or sadistic could be doing this job, and it's probably better than I'm the one doing it." Because, on the back end, I get to put people to rest and make sure that there's a finality to that.
Kind of giving me
Um,
like, kind of giving me like villain who joins the party after being defeated halfway through the first disc vibes.
yeah, maybe. Yeah, actually, yeah, kind of. I think to move out to like what we at least know of what the next season's going to be, I don't think that he is going to actively currently be doing this job when the party is on the road. Maybe we get scenes about him being recruited, but my expectation is that he will uh quit his job and join the rebellion.
Well, sure.
But
I always like, i- we got to make things big, right? People don't
mm,
want to pull, people always want to like pull teeth out of their stories. And it's like, if the most dramatic thing about this person is that he's an executioner for the Undying Empire, like that is a
yeah,
very effective thing to show. Like,
right.
always show the camera the most interesting thing, right?
Okay.
I mean, we can
Sure.
think about it. It's just,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I'm just sort of, yeah, and we can kind of think about where Eol is
Mm,
in his personal journey by the time things link up and we start the actual rebellion. And I kind of want to
yeah,
do like a side vignette, um, once again, one-on-one or small party stuff,
sure.
to introduce these characters like in person, like show them and kind of carve out a little specific time for everybody. Um,
Mhm.
and so maybe that'll be when we'll hash that out.
Right. Well, I
Yeah.
think like even regardless of what happens, this would give him an understanding of how imperial society works and how
Yeah.
to operate within that, which is a strength on the one side, but also what it does is it like I feel like there's only so much recompense you can make with like he will have executed a number of the hydrangeas of the rebel uh material mutual aid network throughout the Bowerlands. And so,
Yeah.
like, if he has to go and talk to them, they're going to be like, hey, I know you from there. And that has to be either, if it's not on site for those people, then that has to be a conversation of like, you need to explain yourself immediately. And it becomes very obvious and it's difficult for him to be trusted in those situations long term.
Yeah, I
So,
mean, absolutely, but that's, war makes strange bedfellows of us all, but it also
absolutely.
like it does not disappear the actual problems that people have with each other, and it doesn't immediately, like, putting the uniform on doesn't immediately absolve you of the horrible things you've done in your past. And so,
Mhm.
there's a lot of opportunity for redemption. There's also a lot of opportunity for just like not being forgiven.
Mhm.
Like that also is just like you can do all these good things in the world, and you can spill 10 drops of blood for every one drop of blood you spilled in your past, and that might still not be enough,
Yeah.
and that's
Well, it's not gonna
that's the
like
truth of it.
then you have 11 times as much blood and nothing's clean. Like, you
Yeah.
know. So, I guess you got to make decisions.
Yeah, it's it's
Um,
it's kind of about like choices and what people are willing to
mhm.
stomach and how far
Yeah.
people are willing to go. And it's yeah, it's a complicated conversation, and I'm hoping to be able to engage with some of those themes rather than run away from them. This isn't Star
Mm.
Wars.
True.
Yeah, where
True.
things are simple, and the bad guys are evil space wizards and the good guys are good space wizards. Now, in this case, the bad guys are evil like there is still like it's like
Yeah.
it is obvious that the Empire is bad. So that's
Mhm.
at least we have an unambiguous villain.
True. In
Yeah.
the organization, yes. And then like what's funny is when we have to start calling in favors to Restov to be like, "Hey, do you want this writ served or not?"
Yeah.
Get us we need a coach and 300 pounds of dynamite.
Yeah, because we can serve this writ for you, but don't ask me who's helping.
Mhm.
Get ready to disavow a whole bunch of shit, but he'll be
Do
dead.
you want to talk? Yeah.
What do you want? What do you want more
Mhm.
than that? So it's yeah,
Yeah.
it's that kind of stuff is really compelling to me in storytelling, and I'm glad you're kind of into that kind of stuff too. I'm really hoping everyone like gets on board with like some of the more frictiony, some of the more
Mhm.
uncomfortable aspects of telling a story like this. So thank you,
Yeah.
Zad, for building Eol with me. That'll be our episode. That was a lot of fun. That's cool.
Yeah, baby.
Yeah, baby. All right. I'll see you.
See you around.
See
See you in
you.
season 2.
Season 2. Thank you for listening to the Game Woven podcast, part of the One Shot Network. Today's episode featured me, T.T. Benjamin, and our cast member, Zadkiel. For more of me or the Game Woven podcast, you can find us on Blue Sky at Game Woven. And for more of Zadkiel, you can find them on Blue Sky at Zadkiel in green. If you would like to support us on Patreon, you can find us at patreon.com/gamewoven. Thank you.